Welcome to the Body, Soul, and Spirit podcast. This is the month of May, mental health awareness. And I wanted to come on here to just talk about what is mental health. Oftentimes we don't really quite understand what mental health is. What does it look like? Mental health is us never having bad thoughts. Mental health is not us never struggling with the soul part of us, the emotional part of us. Mental health is not necessarily that we are never going to have some form of internal conflict. Mental health is really a commitment that we make to a reality of what's really going on inside of us at all costs. No matter what. Mental health is really a commitment to be honest with ourselves about what's really going on the inside. It is not avoidance. It is not pretense. It is not a facade. It is a commitment. We become committed to a reality of what is inside our soul, our heart, our mind. How am I? What is really going on the inside of me? That is mental health. It's when you take the necessary steps to a reality at all costs, no matter how painful it is, but you make the necessary steps to become healthier in the mind, in the emotions, in the heart. For example, when I become committed to the reality of what's going on inside, I can feel angry. I can realize and recognize that I have anger, but I don't have to live as an angry person. That is mental health. I can feel the bitterness, but I don't have to live as a bitter person. I can feel the resentment, but I don't have to live as a resentful person. I can feel that there is depression, but I don't have to live depressed. Mental health is really giving yourself grace. And mental health is giving yourself that room for improvement, for growth. See, a sign of true healing is that you can go home in your quiet time. You can be quiet with your own thoughts and you're okay. A sign that you're truly leading yourself to mental health is that you can be in a quiet place, just you and your own thoughts, and be okay with that. If you're not okay with your own thoughts, then I would say to you, start getting on the road to committing yourself to the reality of what is really going on inside of you. Kind of like a checkup. But see, a sign that you're truly healing and you're really on that journey to mental health is that you can be quiet with your own thoughts and you're okay. I think about feelings because mental health looks like this. Think about your car. Have you ever gotten the light coming on and it's like the oil light and it's an indicator on your dashboard and it tells you that it's time to get an oil change? That's what feelings are. It's the lights that come on your dashboard, the feelings that you feel, the thoughts that you have in your quiet time. Those are the indicators on a car dashboard. And somebody might say, I have a lot of lights that are coming on. That means that it's time for you to have a checkup. And that's what mental health is all about. It's not ignoring those lights. Now, what would happen if I ignored the light on my dashboard and the car's been telling me that I need an oil change, but I keep ignoring it and I keep ignoring it? Well, that light is not necessarily going to go away, or the problem is not necessarily going to be fixed on its own. I've got to take my car and go get an oil change. And that is going to keep my car from maybe not breaking down or causing another problem The fact that I don't change that oil can probably lead that car to another problem. And one problem leads to another problem. And that's exactly what happens when we are not mentally healthy. We ignore the light. We ignore that emotion. We're not really committed to the reality that that light is on. That feeling, that emotion is trying to tell me something, but I ignore it. I avoid it. I evade it. I stuff it. See, that's being not mentally healthy. See, when you are on the road to mental health, you don't ignore those lights. You check the light and then you go get it fixed. Oftentimes, people don't want to put in the work. I remember back, it was years ago. I remember I had a friend and she knew how to turn off the light that would come on her dashboard. She just knew how to just unplug it so that she wouldn't see that light. But she never fixed it. Eventually, that car just stopped working. It didn't turn on her anymore. It wouldn't come on. Nothing she did, because she kept ignoring it. Nothing she did could fix that car. She had to get rid of it. It became just like a junk car because she kept ignoring those lights. How often do we just numb things, ignore things, and just like that, we know how to just turn it off, ignore it, bypass it, right? Think that we're okay. But in reality, we're not. That is not mental health. You see, we have to feel the pain to deal with the pain and deal with it if we are going to heal from it. You cannot heal from something that you don't feel. So mental health is really walking through suffering and stewarding your suffering. Now, there's a difference between you walking through suffering and stewarding the suffering. Stewarding the suffering means I'm a good manager of it. I'm not just walking through it. I'm not just getting over it, but I'm being a good steward of this suffering and allowing God even to take the things that break us and let God's love flow through those broken places. You see, mental health is doing the following. It's taking a step back from everything that you're living, everything that you're facing, the situations that you find yourself in right now. And on one side of your life, think about a piece of paper. And on one side of the page, I want you to maybe think about this. This is who you are when you are at your very best, when you're balanced, when you've gotten enough sleep, you've paid attention to your capacity. This is as much as you can give. You don't overextend yourself or bankrupt your own capacity. Now, I want to know, when you are at your best, what do you look like? Are you kind? Are you generous? Are you loving? Are you interested in other people? Are you compassionate? Now, when you look at the other side of the paper, think about you who's worn out. You're just worn down. You're fatigued. You're fractured. You're frazzled. You've been ignoring the lights on the dashboard. Think about that version you. Which version of yourself do you want to be? Which one do you want to be front and center in your life? I'm certain you would choose the first one. That means that I have to make sure that I'm not sacrificing myself too much, that I can put boundaries, that if I get bitter or angry, that I can withdraw from certain situations, even toxic behaviors like we've talked about in our previous podcasts. That means I draw lines. That means I don't shove people away. I can love others, but I'm not going to lose the best part of myself anymore. I'm sure you choose that version. Well, that's what mental health looks like. And for that, it is a process. It's a process that includes a lot of things. It's a process that includes the spiritual side of you. It includes the people that are around you, healthy people. There's no way we can become healthy mentally and become people that are whole without the correct people around us. We were not created to isolate and have no relationships. We should have people that are close to us, that are helping us journey mental health. That's a process. And this includes also boundaries. It includes making sure that the spiritual side of me is growing. It's developing. It's maturing. It's not evading. In other words, mental health is looking at the dashboard of my life and really listening for all those lights that go off and not ignoring them, but rather coming to a place of complete and utter commitment to the reality of what's really going on inside of me at all costs, but choosing that right side of me where I choose to be my very best. And that will require some things, steps, processes that I must go through. I must face the difficult. I must confront this part of me that maybe I haven't confronted. That means that I've got to be extra cautious. Listen, be in tune with. Are you in tune with yourself? See, that's what mental health is all about. And understanding that I want to be at my very best. I want to show up at my very best. And that's going to require certain limitations in my own personal life. That is going to require me to maybe say no to some things. And sometimes people are not going to like that version of you. They're going to put demands on you. They're going to say, well, but you need to. And we talked about those toxic behaviors. And honestly, if you really want to be mentally healthy, we got to get to the place where we are no longer people pleasing, but that we are not selfish either. We're not pushing people away and just doing whatever we want. That wouldn't be the correct. But that we're really people that are looking at that dashboard and we are authentically honest. We are committed to a reality. This is the reality. This is where I'm at. This is where my mind is really at. This is where my emotions are really at. This is what this trauma or this situation brought me to. And facing that reality with a lot of tenderness is key to your mental health.